Hey guys, so I just got through a pretty rough trifold build. Um, this is the second one. Here's the first. That was a learning experience. And what initially threw me off was two things: stitching too close to the edge and my Cobra Class 20 actually missing this pocket right here. So we missed it, completely missed it. This second stitch was just screwing around. I mean, after I screwed it up, I just went ahead and played with it a little bit. Another thing you have to watch out for on trifolds is the fact that if you get your cash pocket and liner too wide, what will happen is when you close up your wallet, you get this. It's just all bunched up and wadded up inside there. So I'm going to try to explain to you some of the pitfalls and how to get around them and make a solid trifold wallet. I just completed this guy, and you can see that we were a lot more successful with this round. I did stitch just slightly more in than I normally do. I'm normally in maybe between a 16th and an 1/8 inch in, like on belts and stuff. I went ahead and went a full 3/16 in on this stitch, just so that I would catch this pocket and I wouldn't miss again. That that sucked. So we don't want to do that again. Also, with my cash pocket, the way that I sized this is I built my body. My body's 9 3/8. Okay, it's 9 3/8 long, 4 1/4 tall. My cash pocket is 4 inches tall. And then the way that I found the length on my cash pocket was I went ahead and cut a piece that was 4 inches tall and as long as my body. And then I lined it up flush on this end and I just clipped it over here on the side. Then I started making my folds, okay? And as I would fold, I would make sure that that cash pocket was sitting flat through here, and then I would take a small round tool and I would push over this way into the corner from the top and from the bottom and make sure that that liner was, or the cash pocket liner was sitting and seated up into the fold. Then I would go on. I actually had it clipped top and bottom to keep my clips out of the way as I fold. Then I'd go on to the next fold, okay? Make sure that we're sitting flush up against our body here. And then make this last fold, and again with the tool, tuck that liner into the fold top and bottom. And at that time, then I've got quite a bit of that liner sticking out on the end, and I just mark it with a pencil. Okay, and that's how I figured out the size, the proper size for a liner on a trifold. Of course, when you open up a trifold, that inside cash pocket is going to be quite a bit shorter than your body. It's going to look something like this if you've done it right. I, in the future, would probably make this body half an inch longer. So 9 7/8 instead of 9 3/8. Just to give these pockets, which are 2 5/8 wide, a little more room in between them. I would like to have a half inch in between them. So that's the way that I would build. When it comes to machine sewing this, it's important that you run your machine in the direction of the pocket stacks and not against, because you can bunch up this thin lining material. This is El Matador material from Maker's Leather Supply. This is tan, chocolate brown, I think. anyway, they've only got a few colors. English bridle leather. It's beautiful for making liners. It's between 1 and 2 ounce. It's extremely thin. It's great. So that's where I get it. I line my body, cash pocket, T pocket, solid pocket. So when it comes to stitching this guy, I've got a lot of start and stops. You can see them from the inside. They're throughout, and it was just so that I could make this work. Of course, you sew these before you put the cash pocket onto the body. But when I stitched it, I wanted to go in the direction of these pockets. So I'm feeding into my machine in this direction. So it's not catching up. Then I can make that turn. I can sew across the top. And then I'm going to stop. Because if I make that turn, I'm sewing into the pocket. You're going to bunch up these little edges, and you don't want to do that. So I stop there, and then I come down here, and I start from this direction. I'm lying to you. Nope. I don't remember how I did it all, to be honest with you. I ran this way. I know I ran this way, but I can't remember where I started. I may have started right in that corner and just ran that way, and then turned the corner a little bit and stitched over this line. But I had to go this direction on the bottom so I could get close to this fold. Again, I'm using a class 20, leather machine company class 20. So I had to go this direction because that presser foot, the way that presser foot's shaped, I can't run up close to that fold with the backside of that presser foot. So we went that direction. Then we did the same thing over here on this guy. I started back over here, and I went that direction, got as close to the fold as I could, back stitch back a few. And then for this line, what I had to do was 2 runs. So I started here, and I went this direction, got as close to the fold as I could, back stitch a few, take the work out, do it again, stitch this direction, back stitch a few. It was a pain, but I produced a product that I'm glad to put my name on. I think that the customer is going to be extremely happy with this. I think the interior looks tight. I think it looks clean. It folds well. It doesn't bunch up on the inside. And I mean, it's pretty clean, guys. Of course, you're going to have to only stitch as wide as your pockets are. You're going to have this gap on your folds. It's just going to have to be that way. I know there are some, Springfield Leather makes a pre-assembled interior for a trifold, and they say to, I think, stitch that all down solid, but I just don't see how you can do it and maintain a quality interior. So hopefully, guys, this will help you with any of your nightmares. I man, it really was a nightmare. So just whatever I can do to help you, reach out in the comments. I'll answer questions, try to remember what I did in order to make this happen. So, yep, best of luck out there.